Welcome into Chat Pack Live. This is a show where we talk about this, that, and the other thing, and that keyboard clicking and all the mouse noises you're hearing is the return of the one and only Benjamin Allen. He's back.
I'll type quieter here.
Well, you play every game on the computer like you're playing StarCraft. Like you have to do 6,000 actions a minute, but I don't think you need to do. I heard the clicks.
You did? Damn it. Okay. That's okay. I get better.
But anyway, this is a show where eventually four of us will gather around, chat about what's going on through the powers of the interwebs, bringing things together. Trevor all the way across the country. Ben and I will be able to record these together here whenever Ben decides to move out of Ohio.
Could be a long time. The Midwest sucks you in.
Well, you're still staying in the Midwest, technically. Is Chicago the Midwest?
That's true too. Yeah, it's Midwest.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It counts.
It still doesn't. The Midwest doesn't make sense to me. I feel like it should be more in the middle of the country, right?
We should call it the Middle East.
I think that one's taken.
We probably shouldn't do that.
Anyway, my name is Paul Holden. I am one of your hosts here of this wonderful little podcast, and joined as always by the man, the myth, the legend, our editor, producer, and glue, Trevor Heim. Trevor, thank you for everything that you did, getting the first episode back up there. And
that was quite the introduction, Paul.
Hey, I steal a lot from I steal a lot from other podcasts, but what can you do? But anyway, we also are joined again by the one and only Ben Colvin. Ben, hello, welcome back to the show.
Hello.
Tell everyone what you're doing out there and why you're making so much noise.
I'm playing Minecraft.
Now, what brought you back to Minecraft? Because you were pretty hooked on it at one point. Are you raising your sheep again or whatever you did that last time?
No. So previously, I ran an organization in my Minecraft server called the Sheep Defense League, and we were there it was before they allowed you to get food from sheep, so it was purposeless to kill sheep. So we were there to defend sheep. We would run sting operations to sheep farms and send undercover sheep in, that kind of thing. Okay. Now I'm just putting blocks down, that kind of stuff.
Now, I haven't played Minecraft ever. I've seen it a little bit.
What?
Yeah, I'm not lying. I promise you. What am I missing?
If you like to grind and just do simple tasks over and over and over again, that's Minecraft in a nutshell right there.
It seems
other options include Destiny,
Diablo, pick your poison.
See, but those, at least it's like, I mean, it's not, I don't feel like it's fair to say, because in Minecraft it's like you don't get an end result. That's not true. You can build a bunch of great stuff, but like those other ones, it's like I'm getting better loot, I'm going through dungeons, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, Minecraft can get pretty collecty, like where you're collecting things and finding better,
or defending
better ways.
Sheep.
Yeah, or defending sheep. Whatever you could. It's a lot you could do with it.
I don't mind grinding in games, but like I find myself having to really like a game to want to do it nowadays. I really don't grind nearly as much as I was, but actually Fallout 76 was a free trial. And I just downloaded that, and I'm a big Fallout guy. If anyone who knows me knows that, and it's weird, but it still seems pretty cool. And I'm excited to dive in deeper. And if it's half off right now, so if I enjoy the week, I think I'm gonna try it. But it seems like there's gonna be a lot of grindy type stuff to like set your camp up and like gather all the resources and stuff. But at least I can just drop in and out. And I don't feel like I have to like keep getting better and better, because I feel like in Destiny or those other games, it's like you can get left behind real fast.
Mm-hmm. I would say. Sorry. Who's going? I'll go. I would say that Destiny. Well, so when Destiny 2 came out, I was super into it, and I was playing pretty regularly, and I just sort of fell off of it for probably 3 days, and then it was like a whole different game when I got back on, and I was like, yeah, all right, I'm kind of burnt out on trying to learn this, and it's just, if you're not keeping up with it, it just disappears.
There's a lot of online games like that nowadays.
The Division, World of Warcraft, RuneScape back in the day, and today.
And I get it, they want to keep making new content for the guys that are playing 24/7, but for the more casual players, it's kind of hard to keep up with.
Well, especially like, now that I feel like people play video games when they're older and older, and it's like if you're working a traditional 9 to 5, and Trevor, you and I talked a little bit about this, and you have your other interests and hobbies and stuff, it's like you really don't have the time to sink into to like go deep into those games. But I mean, there's also the beauty in that is that you can keep going back, and like there's, if you're low enough level, it's like you're still going to be in the introductory stuff and can slowly work your way up. But if you wanted to do any like PvP or like competitive stuff against other people, you'll probably get left in the dust.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
But I don't know. I've been playing a few new video games now with Game Pass. I tried some indie titles that people were all about, Outer Wilds and Below, and I just haven't been able to get into them. Outer Wilds, it's kind of a cool like space thing that has a big musical element into it that I really am interested in, but like I'm doing some of the training missions and the controls are already kicking my butt, so it's kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to like play a full game of this.
You seem like a person who music will help you decide what game you play.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a soundtrack. I think is one of the most underappreciated things in a video game. It's one of the big things that drew me to Hotline Miami. And then like once, because I heard the soundtrack start, and then I watched the game, and I was like, dang. And then playing that game, you hear the same songs over and over again because you have to restart and start over and all that stuff a lot. But man, I think good music definitely adds to a good game, and it's been interesting. I mean, I've been going through BioShock Infinite again, and music has a pretty big role in that game too, but it's like music from different eras that before the game and stuff. So it's interesting.
I think probably both of you, but maybe especially Trevor, will just appreciate the Halo soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's almost like an emotional attachment I have to it. Like I'll hear a song and it takes me back. I don't want to say that because I'm too young to say it takes me back, but it kind of does. So
I'll be honest with you. I still listen to the Halo 3 soundtrack like pretty regularly.
Few games bring like episodes of nostalgia on quite like Halo. That's for sure. I mean, it was such a big deal, and it still is. Like, I mean, I was just playing Halo like right before we were hopping on. I was actually just playing Halo. But yeah, in other video game news, I guess that's where we'll start tonight with video games. You guys keep up to date with any of the big announcements this week? Anybody excited about anything? Because for an E3, I was relatively unimpressed with the stuff that I heard about. There was some cool stuff, definitely. But other than that, not really a lot that was jumping out at me. You guys follow any video game stuff?
I'm totally clueless. I didn't.
If I could just give you my quick hot take here, apparently Terminator is in Gears of War now?
Yeah, I saw that, and whatever, I guess it's a multiplayer character, but I guess Terminator ended up in like 3 or 4 other big games too. Like, it was weird. I don't know why.
Arnold?
Well, because they're bringing back, like, they're redoing Terminator again, which, I mean...
I'll be honest, the trailer looks pretty fucking dope.
I guess, dude. I don't know. Like, it kind of looks cool, but like, I don't know. I haven't watched a trailer, or I haven't watched a Terminator in so long. You just were into old ass Arnold Schwarzenegger and that one lady just blowing shit up?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I mean, like, the original Terminators were, I feel like, I don't want to call them instant classics, but I feel like they're
definitely highly regarded. Movies. A lot of people think Terminator 2 is like a rare example of a sequel that's better than the original. I feel like.
Yeah.
You thought the second one? I don't know.
I don't know. I've just heard
that you can't watch that anymore. The second one. The CGI cop he's just too bad now. It's like the CGI is so bad. The liquid metal. Yeah, it's like I can't watch that because I just know like. It's not good anymore.
Is it the second? Is it the second movie where he, as he's fading down into the lava, he gives a thumbs up, or is that the first movie?
I think that is the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the second one. Trevor? I know at least in terms of video game stuff, you seen any of that new Doom Eternal?
Oh my gosh, that game looks insane. You're talking about
it's gonna be so good.
Enjoying the first couple Terminator movies, just blowing shit up. the Doom, I will gladly take more of the new Doom game, just destroying demons and just like ripping through stuff.
I don't care what the story is going to be. Just give me another like good long campaign with crazy fight sections. I mean, Doom 2016 was so good. So good.
That game, as someone who is a huge fan of Halo, and I've been having like Halo withdrawals from like back in the Halo 3 days. Doom was close for me. Doom was that high again.
Dude, it was just so... I mean, that game was just fun, and it was just absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, none of you guys have PS4s, but my roommate, or Will, my roommate, just started playing Spider-Man again. It just reminded me how great that game was, too. Spider-Man was awesome. But yeah, Doom looks dope. Got some new details about next gen Xbox, a bunch of tech shit that.
Yeah, wait. So there's going to be another Xbox. Yep, break that down.
It's supposed to be way more powerful than the one. It's supposed to be the most powerful. I mean, it was just a bunch of buzzword shit. They didn't release any of that stuff yet, but it's coming out holiday next year, launching with Halo Infinite. I mean, that's just a sign for me. If it's a good price, then I'm just going to hang on to my Xbox One now, and I'll just upgrade then and get that. So,
are you like excited about Infinite?
Definitely. I mean, dude, I honestly think that. The Halo 5, I mean, I haven't played the campaign yet, but like the multiplayer was sick, and I'm sure the campaign was good enough. But if they bless me,
what the fuck was that?
I sneezed. I'm sorry. I didn't know what else to do. I tried grabbing and covering my mic, but it wasn't the best option.
That sounded insane. It's like you sneezed in my head.
No, I mean, I'm definitely excited because I think they're going to scale it back a little bit and like do some different stuff. And I think that the era of loot boxes and all that shit is on the way out. And I think because that's Halo 5, there was all these packs you opened up and there's like this and that. And it's like, I just don't want any of it. And I think they're going to simplify Halo. They're just going to make it look really freaking awesome.
The teaser definitely seemed like a major callback to Halo 1 for me.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope there's split screen co-op.
Yeah, like that has to, like I hope that's like coming back. I mean, you're seeing it in indie games especially, but like not having functions with games that were couch co-op forever and taking them away is insane. Like same thing with like even Nintendo did it. Like on Smash Bros for the Wii U, you could play 2-player online. Now for the Switch, you can't do that. Why? Like, what is the purpose of I have to be wirelessly linked with another, like a person with another Switch, and then like we can't share the same TV. Like now one person has to look at the Switch and the other person has like, what the hell is that? Like,
well, and I feel the Switch, their whole marketing thing was that like you could share the controllers with someone and like prop up your screen anywhere, anytime, and play like co-op. So that's interesting to me.
You know why they do that, actually?
Make people play online and buy subscriptions to play online?
No, that's not the reason.
Oh.
It's because the games are so powerful now.
Oh, yeah.
They can't run two.
That's right, because you have to run you have to run the game twice. That's right.
That's why it's good. That's why indie games are doing it, because they're not so crazy. But when you max out the graphics and do that kind of stuff, then you can't do that.
I don't know if I believe that. I don't know that I know the actual answer, but I don't know if I believe that that's the reason why they don't have co-op in more games.
That's what I've heard.
I know he's definitely. I've heard that as well, and I mean it makes sense. Like to try and run Halo 5 split screen. I mean you're going to have a massive drop in frames. You're going to have a massive.
But like Halo 3 had 4-player split screen, I'm pretty sure, and Halo 3 was like pushing the limits of what the 360 could do.
Yeah, I just feel like in that era it was a lot less people knew what that means, like the like frame rates.
Fewer teraflops back then.
Yeah, and like I feel like not as many people had played PC games or like knew a difference. You know what I mean? To like actually like see if they were playing in Halo 4-player, if there was anything to happen. But
here's the deal, man. Like once I've gotten to know a game and I'm playing it multiplayer, like I played StarCraft, I would play it on the lowest graphic settings because I was trying to get the best game performance out of it. So it's not like once you've played a game enough and you're familiar with it, you don't need to have these maxed out graphics. I would love to play a game split screen with absolutely terrible graphics with my friend. If they
says the guy playing Minecraft.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like the game has to look good, but it doesn't have to look as good in.
Hey, Chatback listeners, it's Trevor. Unfortunately, we lost about 10 minutes of Paul's audio in this episode, and even though he's not the most talkative, there is a good chunk of conversation missing. So before we go back to where the audio picks up, here's what you missed. We finished our discussion about E3 with the announcement of Banjo-Kazooie and Smash. You can play as a badass granny in Watch Dogs Legion, and Keanu is coming to Cyberpunk 2077. We also learned that Paul hasn't seen any of the John Wick movies or even Avengers Endgame, and he received crap for that. Then Ben mentioned he has been rock climbing recently, and luckily Paul's audio came back shortly after that. Anyway, sorry for the interruption, and please enjoy the rest of the episode.
Well, yeah, so I go to a place that's just for bouldering, and bouldering in the wild, outdoors, is kind of dangerous, because you don't have pads and you don't have ropes, so you can put crash pads. Yeah, you can put crash pads, but I think somebody who's kind of like has their foot half in the door for climbing is going to be like, I don't really want to do that, like that seems kind of dangerous. But when you go to the gym, you don't have to deal with ropes, you don't have to deal with any of that. You can just go straight up, climb a wall, you got a nice big pad below you, so you feel really secure doing it. So it's a great way to get people who haven't climbed at all into it. And once you're into climbing, then you get kind of sucked up into it.
And I'll say to the point that Paul was kind of making, the gyms out here are next level, and I will say there's a gym here called The Front that it has a bouldering section, it has a like rope climbing section, but then it has like free weights, it has a yoga studio, it has like a bar and like a deli restaurant thing or something, and like people just go there and hang out and stuff like that. So it's like it's an all-in-one sort of gym, and it's like the most expensive membership, but it's also got some pretty cool perks,
Right. And I don't know where my audio cut off because I just looked at my recording and it at some point had stopped recording. So, but we'll be all right. I'm getting, I'm like not even getting bars at the bottom of my thing, but I'm getting wavelength stuff. So I'm just going to assume that I'm recording in good.
Well, if you stopped recording, I guess Ben and I will just be talking to ourselves for a bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, Trevor and I do the vast majority of the talking, Paul. So I think.
Okay, now I'm getting bars back. Okay, now we're at least seeing things. Things are recording. Anyway, back to it. But no, climbing's interesting. I hear a lot of people, like obviously you guys being my good friends are all into it, and I tried it a few times, and like I still would try it again. I just didn't get the bug as much as other people. But it's a different type of workout that I wasn't really prepared with. And my first time I went to the bouldering place in Athens, I ripped a rock out of the wall. So.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
And so I went with Caleb to this place. And those of you, there's probably one of them out there who feverishly watched season 1 will know Caleb. But
we had 2 seasons. Thank you.
Oh, that's right. Season 1 and season 2. I went with him, and I had been climbing, very regularly, and he hadn't at all. And so I went there, and I just totally flexed on him, and just completely humiliated him, basically.
Caleb is the definition of a guy that catches a fever for something, goes all in, and then the next thing comes in and distracts him, and then he he just bounces around from one thing at a time because he never
I got that too.
Right.
I've been realizing this. It's so easy to get distracted by something else. I feel like it's really a challenge, I think, in life to just stay focused on one thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, and to not only keep the challenge of like sticking with it, to like take it from that introductory, I'm exploring this, to being a solid climber now. You know what I mean? Like at one point it was like, I'll go climb every now and then, but now you're at the point where it's like you're flexing on Caleb and stuff like that. I mean, that takes a lot of work too, and it's kind of, I need to get more into that.
The better you get at something, I think the more aware you are of how bad you are, actually.
Right. No, totally.
Because like when you first start out, you're like, oh, cool, I just did that. Oh, cool, I just did that. And then, as you get more and more into it, you're like very aware of when you make mistakes because you've made them before. And I don't know, it's a little harder to not get down on yourself, I think, when you're really getting into something and doing it a lot.
I will say I have been going like quite a few times a week for a while now, and definitely caught the bug and did kind of what you guys are talking about. I like started off and was like, man, this is pretty cool, and then I was like, oh crap, this is pretty hard, and I don't know if I'm that good at it, and then got kind of frustrated and just decided one day, like, I'm not really going to care too much about like my progression. I'm just going to have fun with it. And now I've been climbing some of the hardest stuff I've ever climbed. And
what difficulties are you at right now? I'm just curious.
I mean, I feel like the difficulties are pretty arbitrary, but
that's very true, especially from gym to gym. It's really like,
yeah. But lately, I've been really pushing myself to try to work on like V7s, V8s,
Hemis,
like in terms of bouldering.
That's my ceiling right now. I can't do any V7s or V8s.
Yeah, so I've been getting kind of stuck. So I'm not really finishing any of those. I've just been working on them and trying to like push myself, which I went like the last 2 nights and I'm so sore right now that I can barely use my arms.
Oh.
It's honestly a great way to get in shape though. It really is.
Yeah, I feel like climbing right now is kind of what CrossFit was like 2 to 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who was doing CrossFit is like getting super into bouldering all of a sudden.
Yeah, and
well, it's
good for you. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to use the type of bodies that CrossFit builds too. You know what I mean?
Well, but it does. I think there's a high chance you injure yourself climbing. Like if you climb for 3 or 4 years pretty regularly, there's a good chance you'll injure yourself.
I believe that.
That's what scares me the most about it is just hurting my fingers because those finger tendons, man.
Yeah, I got tendonitis in my left arm. I had to like sit out for almost a full month.
Dang.
Because I was worried about doing too much. So.
You gotta really warm up and be careful about the tendons.
No, I was being really stupid. I was trying to do this problem that was way beyond me, and I was just really overestimating my ability to hold on to things.
It happens to all of us. It's okay.
Yep.
So, are you guys gonna
I thought we lost
go
Paul again.
into more climbing? Like, are you guys interested in like outdoor climbing, like doing what Caleb does? Like, is that the future, or is bouldering like what you guys are into right now?
I guess I'll take it first. I will say I've definitely been doing a lot of outdoor bouldering recently. I got a crash pad back in like March, and I've just been there's tons of places around me that have just boulders everywhere.
You're in a rock climbing area, that is for sure.
No, yeah. So I drive 20 minutes, and I've been bouldering a bunch outside, but I have not done any outdoor rope climbing yet. And I've got a few of my coworkers and stuff that are like, dude, we gotta go. And like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it that much.
Why not? Just the atmosphere of it. Just, I mean, it's intense. That's real deal shit right there.
Yeah, and like, well, it's a couple of things. Like rope climbing in the gym it's a much more controlled environment, and I'm not the biggest fan of heights to begin with. So climbing in the gym, I kind of have to mentally be like, this is fine. Like I'm fine and I'm climbing. But outdoors, like there's so much equipment involved, and like, a rock can break off, and like your cams can come out of the wall and whatever, and like all sorts of crazy things, which are very rare to have happen, but like it still just worries me. So I don't know if I'll like it that much, but I might give it a try if I get a chance.
Ben, what about you?
Well, Columbus is it's one big field that goes on for like 200 miles in every direction. So
that doesn't sound like Ohio at all.
Well, yeah, I guess the one place I grew up was pretty hilly, but Columbus there's no real place to climb. So I haven't had the chance to do anything outdoor, but yeah, rope climbing it's a little different than bouldering, because bouldering you have so much when you climb something that's longer. You just get tired really fast. It's really an endurance thing. With bouldering, you can do stuff that's almost too hard for you to do normally, but because you have all of your energy there, you can do it. So you can do things that are a little more challenging with bouldering than rope climbing. So I don't know. Rope climbing sometimes is almost disappointing when you do it because you're like, well, if that was 3 boulders, I could have done those pretty easily, but putting them together, it becomes pretty hard.
Yeah.
So, and I agree with Trevor. It's kind of that anxiety thing of like, it's a little dangerous up there. It's not really like a controlled environment at all. So, and I really do have an anxiety with ropes, just falling. And if you were to catch a limb in a rope or something like that, that always makes me just really nervous. So.
Yeah, I got scarred because I watched that one movie when I was younger about they were like climbing some mountain and they had to like cut people off and like all you know what I'm talking about. I feel like I was
Vertical Limit.
It's probably that. I mean,
jeez,
that movie is so cheesy.
Yeah, it's like if you watch it now, it's like so unbelievably cheesy. But when you're like 6 to 8 years old, whatever I was, watching them like, we have to cut you loose. No, oh no. Ooh, if anybody cares, St. Louis just scored a 3rd goal to go up 3-0 against the Bruins late in the third. Yeah, no Boston team. We don't want any. No more Boston championships. They're good for a while.
To what Ben was saying, I will say I definitely prefer bouldering, but we've been rope climbing a little more recently, and I do like. There's something that's cool about being like 50 feet up the wall and it's just quiet and you're like in the zone, just moving your way up. And it's like, there's very much like a rhythm and like a path to it,
Yeah, there is definitely a rhythm. Like, I mean, the few times I got the basic routes down a couple of times at the like makeshift bouldering gym in Athens, and it definitely feels good. But I don't feel like I wasn't in shape enough, one. And I don't know. I just have to like. I feel like if I kept doing it for a bit, I would like it. But I don't know, Ben. This was what I was going to lead. It does. I like it. Just when I like think of something like that, it'd be like biking. Like I loved those long bike rides I would take in Athens, where we'd go to Nelsonville and back. It's like that's a long ride. That's what was it, Ben? 30 miles round trip, right? Nelsonville and back, or a little more than 30 miles, I think. Actually, like closer to like 32, 34, and like. I don't know. Something about riding
32.
Something about riding a bike is just like different. So I guess Ben, I was going to ask Ben, are you more into climbing now than you were into biking a year ago? 2 years ago at this point? That was a year ago?
Not really. I think climbing is... I don't know. The social aspect of climbing I like because you go to the gym and you get to know the people there and... that's, I would say, 50% of the reason why I keep going back anyway, There
are some cool people at climbing gyms.
There's some cool and there's some weird people too. But they're always really interesting people. It's just, the climbing crowd is really cool. And I think with climbing too, I don't know why it's ended up this way. I don't know if Trevor would agree, but it seems like everybody's really supportive compared to like, some other places, there's not a competitive vibe really, or if it is, it's a little bit more masked. Seems like people are kind of cheering for each other all the time, which is cool.
It seems like a lot of the competition is against yourself in reality. It's like no one's rooting against you to, in reality, like you're not competing against even though if other people can do routes or do, them faster or whatever, it's more so it's like, it's more important that you can do the route. But
actually,
I was
Paul,
intimidated
when I took Caleb to the climbing gym, it was a competition and I won. And I won handily, actually. So
okay, that's fair. I believe in certain situations that it's probably competitive. But I don't know, when I was climbing, not being good at it made me a little self-conscious around and no one was, everyone was supportive and offering me advice. I just also wasn't like getting what they were saying to me. I was trying to, but then I wouldn't get it. And I was just like, I don't know. I was kind of getting down on myself a little bit.
It helps to find somebody who's at your level and kind of work through things.
I feel like that's the thing. 'Cause it's like, I walked in there and like everyone is nailing the wall, and doing the hard routes too, and just no problem. Crushing. And I was just like, I'm gonna try and get this one, or I was like falling like early on because like I don't know, you don't use those muscles in that way. You know what I mean? Like even though I was at like
dude, the first couple times you go, your hands just won't keep up with what you're trying to do.
Yeah,
because they're just not strong enough yet. You shouldn't feel bad about that. That's like
No, climbing is definitely fun when you find someone who's like around your skill level, and then you both can kind of strategize and figure out like how to tackle a problem. That's what I find I have the most fun.
Yeah. Interesting though. I mean, so climbing is popular right now. It's very, very interesting. Like, do you guys watch climbers at all? Like, is it like to a point where you'd watch something like that? I don't know how you would.
I've watched Free Solo.
That's that's an interesting thing. Okay, do you think it was wrong that, just for reference, this guy climbed up? Do you know how tall it was?
3,000 vertical feet.
No ropes, nothing.
And it was one of the hardest routes in the world. So it's really, really dangerous what he did. So I was really conflicted when I watched that, because part of me was like, no human being should do that, like. But there's also kind of a part of me that was really impressed with the guy too. That because it's something like I was watching the documentary, and I was very aware of the fact that this is something that I would never be able to do under any circumstances. I just wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
As much as it was physical, it's also just a mental thing of going up a wall like that with no rope or anything. I would freak out almost immediately,
Yeah, because it is like, what is the actual purpose of this? Like, I know it's never been done. It's crazy, like, and all this stuff. But it is just like, is it worth it to die, and then worth it to have all these people watch you die and then have footage of you dying? Like, I don't know. That seems.
So what's interesting to me is his like viewpoint of it is kind of like we're all gonna die at some point, and like. He says, I would rather die doing this thing that I really love, like for myself, than I would, just like passing away of old age or whatever. So it definitely seems like he was doing it more like for himself than for like the glory and like the fame, but that comes with it too. So it's like, it's a very interesting, I liked how the documentary really touched on like his mental, like everything going on in his head and like his emotional state and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Quite the itch that your brain has to scratch if it wants you to do that, and you're like focused on doing that.
I mean, it was really interesting that he started going up the wall, and he turned back, and he was saying like he wasn't in the right mental state.
Yeah,
and he had to tell his girlfriend to leave. That was because I think in his mind he was like he had something to lose, and for him that was like would make it harder to actually complete the climb, I guess, and
something like the thought of her being there and watching him fail like crosses his mind at the wrong time or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a distraction. So I mean that was really weird to me, but it kind of makes sense.
Well, and at that point where he decides to go for it, and then he turns around and comes back because of that, that really gave me a lot of respect for him, because I felt like, he's not just doing this because there's 8 million cameras on him and like all these people that want him to do it. Like, he was doing it because he wants to do it, and at that moment he was like, I don't really want to do this, and so he turned around and came back down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my roommate said something that really was interesting to me, because he said, this seems really crazy. What that guy did was like totally crazy, and most 100%. People would just be like, this is a crazy thing. But nobody ever says that about like the first man to go to the moon, right? Like, he had probably a similar chance of dying.
No, I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought NASA was crazy.
Like, hell no, you're not going to stick someone in a vehicle and send them to the moon.
You're going to strap someone to the top of a missile and fire them out of the Earth's atmosphere? Ben.
Like, nobody was wondering why Neil Armstrong was doing it. Nobody was like, well, that's really like, why would that guy want to do that? Like, everybody's like, well, he's trying to get to the moon. He wants to be the first person there,
He wanted to serve
his country. Have you seen First Man?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should go watch First Man.
Is that like a historical thing? Like at the time where a lot of people like, you're an idiot? You're an idiot. You should...
Wait, like the movie, or you mean the actual moon
for
landing?
Like Neil. Like, I always kind of assumed that everybody kind of had his back and was like,
I mean, I think I think some people were all for it, and then I think some people were super against it because it was kind of like a competition with the Russians with the Cold War.
Yeah, it was a space race. Who's going to get to the moon first?
So it was very much a political thing, like people were either in support of it or they were like, this is a huge waste of tax dollars money and taxpayers' monies and all sorts of things like that. So, I think some people were very vocally against it.
That's interesting.
And some people think it never happened.
Yeah, that's right. Steph Curry.
Steph Curry is a denier?
He took it back, but
doesn't he also think the Earth is flat?
That's Kyrie.
I think Kyrie walked it back too, didn't he?
That's another thing. Going about these psychological, peak performers where they can do things extreme. I don't get so mad. People got really mad at Kyrie Irving for calling the Earth flat and all this stuff. I think to be able to go out in front of a crowd of that many people and perform at that level, you have to have an irrational level of self-confidence. That's what I've decided.
Yeah, well, and the thing too, it's like when you're in that scope and you're looked at as a celebrity and all this stuff, like you can't crack jokes like that. It's like how many times, you know what I mean? Like, or just like one of those like offhand, like I don't know, maybe, just because it's just like just something not like fully meaning it, but just also just kind of being like throwing it up in the air. Like you don't get to be able to do that type of stuff.
I don't know. We put them in the spotlight, and we act like their opinions matter so much.
Right. It's like, since he said that, it's like he has to be crazy. Like he couldn't have been joking, or like he couldn't have And
yeah, if kids are being like impressioned about how the world works based on Kyrie Irving, that's like he's a basketball player, but he's not. That's it. He's a young guy too.
Right, exactly. He scrolls he watches probably dumb YouTube videos and gets stupid opinions from them too. So, it happens. But
that's my philosophical
deep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this got really deep for a second, guys.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is
what happens when Ben Colvin comes on.
That's right.
It's gonna be hard to stop saying the live part of the show. This is just recorded. A chat pack. And,
it's chat pack pre-recorded.
We'd love it if you gave us the old subscribe, if you followed along with us, and we're gonna. I don't know. I always say we are, but I'm gonna try. We're gonna try and figure out how to get.
What?
We're gonna do it.
Don't like and subscribe.
Oh, don't.
Don't do
okay.
What?
Ben's going. Ben's
is this
going
reverse
the opposite.
Psychology?
Ben.
No, it's not reverse psychology. What? Come on.
See, Ben does have a PhD, so
I don't.
Well, you'll get
He's
there.
working on it, though.
I'm not.
He's coming to Chicago to
Minecraft.
learn how to draw the anatomy of things for textbooks, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that's the gist of it.
That's pretty rad.
So,
that's
Ben,
pretty cool, actually. I'm pretty hype. Yeah.
How do you feel about moving from the Midwest big city to Chicago / signing yourself up for, what is it, year 4 of living with me?
Yeah, year 4.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about that.
Why 04?
Because, that freshman year and then senior year.
I can't find a better roommate, I guess. It's just
oh, you guys are just so cute.
He just wants to play my video games. I know his real... I got too many video games. Okay. Oh, I just got God of War, by the way. I haven't
hang on. Actually, can I get your input on this?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that since you've lived with me, you have bias. So try to put your bias to the side. But so I've had a small domestic dispute with my current roommate.
Okay.
Is her name Hannah?
No, I'm not living with Hannah. I'm living with another Ben, actually.
Cooler Ben. Cool Ben.
Just figured I'd ask.
Better Ben? What was his name?
He's Ben. I'm not going to put his last name on the
No, Better Ben. Was it
Better Ben?
Was it?
I'm the Better Ben.
Oh, okay.
Old Ben?
Anyway.
Old Ben Kenobi?
I don't live with a hermit, no. He does work night shift, though, so it's kind of like that
he basically is a hermit.
Yeah, it's really hard, actually, if you work night shift to, like,
night
go
shift
do
sounds
things.
awful.
It's an easy thing. Yeah, it's really rough. But he's making a lot of money, so trade-offs for sure. Anyway, that's a tangent on a tangent. The point is, my roommate will buy alcohol, okay? And then he'll buy like a 6-pack of beer. Just hang on, okay? And then he won't drink it for a month. So that happened like 2 times. And I didn't touch it. I left it there, okay? He didn't drink it at all. He literally left 3 beer bottles to the point where they skunked, okay? So he buys 2 6-packs.
What?
And after 2 weeks of not touching them, I started to drink his beer.
Ben, you didn't.
I did. Because in my mind, this is recycling. I'm not going to let that beer go to waste.
You have a fair point, but see, when you talk about a certain beer, it's probably expensive, though. But you have a point.
These are craft beers. They're craft beers.
I mean, as long as you replenish his beers with beer that you buy at one point, I feel like beer is almost always to be shared. If I don't buy a 6-pack and then have it out in front, I wouldn't be surprised if someone.
Paul, are you going to continue to say that when I start living with you?
Ben, if I started to mind about you taking my things, then I would have had beef a long time ago.
I'm like what's the word for that?
The original mooch.
Yeah, but I feel like part of good roommateship is the ability to share stuff, though, like, and split things, and like not like
sharing is caring.
Ian's rule is just don't take the last one, and it's like that's a perfect rule. Like,
no, that's not the perfect.
Well, if you take the last one, just replace it.
And if you do take the last one, you should replace it, especially if you had a few.
Not a perfect rule either.
Like if you had if someone buys a 12-pack of something, and you drink some of that 12-pack, and you
okay, hang on. What about milk? Because you got a gallon of milk, right? So I can pour out until there's just a little centimeter of milk at the bottom, right? So I'm not taking the last of it.
Yeah, but that just goes against.
You see how that?
True, but
so
no one's just going to pour things out. I know that I get your point, but that's irrational.
Also, if you leave like a centimeter of anything left in the cupboard or fridge, you're just a dick.
Yeah, you're really just an asshole because it's trying to justify the sin that you've committed, but it's just more of a slap in the face.
No comment.
But I don't know. I mean, it's easier to just try and share things and then replenish them, and it makes it more affordable for some stuff. You get more cool stuff. But I feel like the main thing is, like, if he doesn't want you to touch his beer, though, you have to knock it off. Like, if he specifically says, like, just like, me, Ben, like, there are a few things in the house that I need to have to exist as a human being. And they got to be there. And like, if you take it or you touch it and you don't replenish it, that's just a no-go. Like, because what if on the off chance he does come home from work and he wants a 6 a.m. beer because that's his nighttime?
That is actually, I've encountered that. No, so I'll like wake up in the morning and get my coffee. Yeah, my roommate's like drinking a beer.
Right.
Like,
I mean, he's been up all night. Like, he's trying to unwind. Yeah. He's just trying to have a beer.
Exactly. It's funny to me. It's like, whoa, like what's going on here?
Not what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, so that's actually been tough because we'll go to the climbing gym together a lot. So we have to like schedule out when we can both go that works with our schedules. So,
man, night shift is definitely not for me. That's rough.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, the night shift sounds terrible, but Ian, my other roommate, I mean, his schedule is like 10 o'clock to midnight, like 5 days a week. I like, that sucks too. Like,
well, that's just a ludicrous amount of hours.
Well, it's fine dining.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, he's guaranteed, like, he always will have he won't get called in on a Sunday or Monday unless they've had like restaurant stuff, which they've done. But like, he will always have Sunday, Monday off, so at least there's actually, that.
I've been working just part-time while I'm kind of biding time to go to Chicago. So I only work Tuesday, Thursday, and it has been wonderful. I tell you what, when you have like 2 weekdays, I have to do some lesson prep. So it's really like I have 2 weekdays off in addition, where you can just kind of like work on a personal project or whatever chores you have to do. You just do them. Man, life becomes so much easier. It's incredible.
I'll be honest. If I could work 4 10s and have 3-day weekends like every week or maybe every other week, like easy. That would be the life.
Would do that. Mm-hmm. Would do that without a doubt. I feel like that's like such a like way more refreshing because like on the long weeks I'd have at the station when like I'd have to like go and I'd be up, I would host a show, I would do my other stuff, I have remotes, and like and then I'd hit Friday, dude, and I would just be like, oh my god, like just let me, because you know I didn't even have to work on the weekends at some points, but like the times where I didn't have anything scheduled on the weekends, like Friday would come and I was just like, I literally did it, and I started telling people that actually at work. I was like, hey, Fridays are my day where it's like if I don't need to be here longer than an hour or so after my show,
leave
I'm
me
gone.
the fuck alone.
Yeah, it's like I'm gone and I'm gone for the weekend. Like I'll usually pop in and like, because I don't, you know, it's just like so much, because sometimes there's just like people will just keep you going, you know, like when you say yes to everything like I do at work, like, you know, you're always going to get signed up for something. They're they're trying to devise a way to get me back, I think, already.
No way.
But I don't know. I actually just crossed this past week. I just did my 40th episode of Groovy Soup. So in August it'll be a year.
You still don't have a logo, or did Trevor ever come?
No, neither one of you guys have gotten back to me about an updated logo. No.
Hey, I mean, we're a little bit busy and like we're working on this podcast side project that like.
Yeah, Paul. You know, with my extra time here that I have off and
all that time, I thought you were working. You know, the reason you're not in Chicago is because you had like you know, real commitment thing. And
how do you think that I've had time to get 400 slimes per hour in Minecraft?
I figured that you and your friends are insanely efficient at that game, and if I know anything, it's if you mobilize your old PC computer gaming crew, very few walls stand a chance in the world of PC gaming. That's a dedicated crew who know what the hell they're doing.
No, okay. So my one good friend from high school, he works for Microsoft now. He's really made it.
What?
He's infiltrated Minecraft. I mean, he could get in there.
In fact, actually,
he's actually Herobrine.
Here, viewers and listeners, if you like and subscribe right now, I will give you the exclusive opportunity to send me feedback on how Microsoft Word doesn't work. You give that feedback to me, I will give that to my friend, and he will tell his manager, and his manager will not fix it. So you just go ahead and like and subscribe. Send me that feedback, nothing will happen.
But Ben, I thought you didn't want them to like and subscribe.
Well, I changed my mind. It's okay to change your mind sometimes. That's not a problem, you know?
This guy.
Just flip-flopping. Point is, so he has brought in the whole Microsoft crew. There's like 2 or 3 Microsoft people now working on the Minecraft server. And my God, I've never met people who can just create things that work so perfectly. I mean, it is incredible. You know, you got to give credit. They can't really make software so well, but they can play the hell out of Minecraft.
So that reminds me, if I could take this on a bit of a tangent for a second. At work, a few of my coworkers, and it's pretty much 100% of the like development team, they've started on lunch breaks playing this game. It's basically a Unreal Tournament knockoff. No, it's like an Unreal Tournament knockoff, but it's called Xonotic. And they just get a little LAN server going like at lunch breaks. And I jumped in on some games, started playing with them, which just takes me back, like just old school LAN party, like shoot 'em up, you know, Unreal Tournament. But the other day, this dude joins up, and I guess he doesn't always join, and so everyone was like, "Oh man, look who's coming to play!" And he comes in and he unpacks his laptop, he unpacks a mechanical keyboard, he unpacks this gigantic gaming mouse, and he lays it all out in this meeting room and just jumps in and he just starts destroying us. And I was like, "Oh, dude, if you're coming with this much heat, like, I don't even know if I want to play this anymore. Like, you're just taking every match from us."
No, that's really, man, it feels good when you can come back to a video game that you're really good at and you're playing some people who aren't so good, and you just lift the veil on like how good you can be at a game, and you start just really beating them up. That's a good feeling.
Just crack your knuckles and just buckle down on it.
Yeah.
You're not ready for this StarCraft, Ben. I'm gonna come at you.
Oh yeah, are you?
No, not at all. I'm the same amount.
You probably won't even wall off again, Paul. You'll just let me beat you in the early game.
If you want to see this face-off, tune in to twitch.tv.
Actually, that would be I actually thought that was a show that I actually wanted to start doing, was streaming Ben crushing me in StarCraft to see if I'd get any better. And
well, so I I went back onto StarCraft to get ranked again. And I'm Diamond League. It's no big deal.
See, but you play two, which I'd want to play Brood War.
I'm not so good at Brood War. But in StarCraft 2, I was playing some people who were complete novices, right? And I was trying to be helpful, but to be completely honest, mostly I was just being an asshole. And I was playing them, and I would tell them 2 minutes beforehand exactly how I was going to kill them. I would tell them the mistake they made and what I was going to do and how they were going to die. And then I would do it. I mean, that is probably the most evil thing I've ever done in my life. I felt like a cat playing with a mouse.
You remind me of a certain character in Game of Thrones who was talking mad smack and got his head popped like a cherry.
Nah, dude, you can't beat me in StarCraft. You could try. You could probably beat me in Brood War, but you couldn't beat me in StarCraft 2.
Listeners, if you think you can beat Ben at StarCraft, tweet at us at Chatback Live.
There you go. I can see you when you were playing those games with just a big smirk on your face, just like yes.
I will only play a viewer if they like and subscribe. So
you are sending very mixed messages, Ben. We can't tell if you actually want people to like or subscribe or not. But
no, I'm serious. First listener to like and subscribe and challenge me to StarCraft 2, I'll play him. I'll do it.
Boom.
There we go.
Yeah.
The gauntlet has been thrown down.
That's right. I'm going to get some stuff going, because if Ben's going to have I don't know, I need to figure out how to. I can just stream from my Xbox, and I need to do it. We streamed that one time, Ben, the elusive dub hunt in Apex Legends. We'll have to get back. We're going to have to figure out.
Oh, I forgot about that.
We could probably crossplay when you get here. That would be dope.
It's all about consistency, man.
The
streaming.
The way we're going to have to get your ups, because I'm assuming you want your computer in your room, right?
So do I have the upstairs room? I know this is
you have the upstairs. You have the upstairs room, but the internet setup is tough because I only found one working coax, and it's in the back corner of my room. So I already have to run a Ethernet cable through my door. So we'd have to somehow.
So I should be good.
We're gonna have to somehow jury rig a cord for you, but because when are you? End of the month? You're gonna be up here?
Yeah, I'm not. So this is another crazy thing. I'm going on vacation with Hannah's family.
Oh shit! Okay, that'll be. But you've met mom and dad before, right?
Oh, I have met. Can I just say something?
Oh, maybe you most certainly can.
Hannah's dad, and this is going to sound weird, but he is a sexy man.
Okay,
should we have him on the podcast?
Oh, he would come on. I'll tell you right now, he would come on.
My dad would want to do that. My dad would come on the show.
Yeah, we could just start mixing. My dad probably wouldn't. He would be like, I'm not doing that. But
dude, my dad would be 100% down.
God.
He still tweets. My dad just randomly tweets.
Trevor, can you get your dad on StarCraft 2 so I can play your dad?
No.
But anyway,
I got a bone to pick with Scott.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he was when we were moving out.
Oh shit!
Hang on,
here we
Paul.
go.
Okay,
he was being annoying as hell. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh man, remember Trevor's dog almost died?
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
Oh
dude,
god,
she's still kicking. She's lost 20 pounds.
Nice.
No kidding, really. So are they limiting how much food she eats? Or?
Still getting that whack ass haircut?
Maybe.
That's confidential.
So anyway, Ben, this is where we'll start to wrap up the show here. You going on vacation with Hannah's parents. I believe in you because Ava survived going to visit my entire family. So if she can survive that, you can survive what going out on vacation with Hannah's family. Where are you guys going? What are you doing?
We're going to Georgia in July.
That is going to be so hot.
Yeah, we're going to.
It's going to be sticky.
So it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah.
Humidity.
We weren't going to go to California, but plans changed. So I was kind of looking forward to California, but that's okay.
Dang.
Why? So why going to the beach in Georgia? Just most affordable connections there?
They've been there before. It's a really nice location. It's got a beach. There's horse riding.
If I had a vote, I would vote for California Beach.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know what? The older I've gotten, the more I think people from California are really annoying. Which I know that's probably not going to sound good to some viewers who are in California, but guys, you're annoying.
We just lost a big chunk of our U.S. listeners.
No, man, there's too many people from California I've talked to, and the conversation turns into the fact that they live in California, and it's like, I know it's better. We all know. We're all here, and we're all aware that California is a better environment. There's more shops. There's this, that, and the other thing. It's all better in California. We know.
I like totally how shops was the first thing that you went with. There's more shops in California than anything else.
There are. There's a lot of shops.
That's fair.
Beaches, good weather, all year round. It's great.
I might catch some flack for this, and I'm going to alienate some people, but
we don't have any viewers yet, but we're going to alienate
everyone. Actually, I would enjoy if someone proved me wrong, because at this point, I've everyone from California that I meet outside of California tells me all about how great California is to exhaustion, until I'm just like, why are you here then? Mm-hmm. Like, why are you here talking to me right now instead of enjoying all these things that you're, telling me about? But anyways,
can we add a segment to the podcast that is I've got a bone to pick?
I would absolutely love if we added a segment to I Got a Bone to Pick with Ben Colvin. The podcast within the podcast or whatever.
I mean, Trevor had a good one too. I mean, that's absolutely, that's what I'm trying to say.
That'll be Ben's bit.
I was that person freshman year. When you go to a new place, you have to impress, and the only thing, when you can't relate to other people about where they're from, you just have to talk about where you're from to the point of exhaustion.
I will never forget you. I can't remember if you just told me the story or if the guy was there, but they were like, "Oh, you're from Colorado, right?" And you were like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Do you know so and so?" And you're like, "It's like a big state, man." Like,
well, yeah. I mean, because it is kind of just like, I don't fucking know who the hell you're talking about. I don't know everyone from fucking Colorado. Oh man, but all right. Well, I think that's a natural.
Now we're just going off the rails.
Yeah, I mean, 55 minutes. This has been the Chat Pack Podcast, and we'll be back next week. So we'll stick it with the Monday releases, I think. And Mondays are big content days for me. Groovy Soup comes out, and Chat Pack. 2 hours of great audio content for people. Yeah, what all are we on, Trevor?
We are on, currently, episode 1 can be listened to on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and it's on the YouTube channel. And then I submitted it to iTunes, and I guess iTunes takes like forever to approve your podcast, so I don't know if we're on iTunes yet. So maybe by the time this releases, we might be on iTunes.
That'll be cool.
The podcasts I've listened to, they do say that likes and subscribes are the way that you get noticed. So they always ask their viewers to do that. So
that's why we're asking you people, and maybe we'll keep doing some stuff.
Folks.
We're gonna get some stuff.
We'll cease to exist.
Proven, because I don't know. Trevor and I talked about this last time.
If we don't get any support, we'll fizzle out like season 1 and 2.
Dude, look at this. It's already episode 2, and we've got Ben on here with us. Like, I thought it would be at least episode 5 by the time we got him.
Definitely.
If you look at, if you just give me, I'm hard to reach because that's just how it is. But if you text me or probably send me a Discord message, I mean, not like what you did today, like right before, but if you send it a little bit in advance.
Well, I think Wednesdays are going to be the recording day. I think that's what we're trying to do. Wednesdays around this time.
I teach my lesson on Thursdays for the next couple of weeks, so sometimes I'll be cramming, but today's good.
That's going to be the StarCraft lesson that he'll be teaching.
Actually, it's stereochemistry. That's
not real.
Less fun.
You made that up.
That's a made-up word. But anyway, this has been the Chat Pack Podcast. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends, follow us at Chat Pack Live on Twitter, and we'll be back with more good stuff next time. Gentlemen, thank you for the call today.
Yeah. That's the show.
That's
episode
the show.
2.
Good work, boys. I'm gonna go heat up some cookies and play video games.
That sounds fantastic.